Do scientists communicate well, and can they communicate a problem like climate change to the public in a way that it can help people to change behavior rapidly enough for a big problem like climate change? Well, I think we do have to recognize that cultural change is often a slow process. It takes time before people really start to think in new ways. But we've seen a lot of cultural change in the last decades. The position of women in society, or how we deal with different ethnic communities, or the whole culture of communication itself has changed so much. So we know we are capable of change. But it's a good question as to whether or not scientists are good at communicating problems. And I think we could actually work on this a little bit more, because science is very complex, and we know we have to spend years understanding the vocabulary of different disciplines to really get into them. But we also need to be able to pull back and communicate what we're talking about to a more general public. We can't expect that everybody's a meteorologist, a climatologist, an oceanographer, a paleontologist. We need to be able to take messages and help people to understand, what does that mean for me? What does this mean for my community? And there, I think, conferences that do bring people together with different disciplinary perspectives can help, because you have to bring your language level down to a level that helps others understand what you want to say. So I think there's a lot we still need to do. I think scientists need to learn more about how do you write papers that aren't just for your peer group, but maybe how to tweet important messages about science. Or take a very complex issue and bring it down to a poster that can be hung on a subway wall, where you can say, this is why climate change matters. So I think we've learned a lot, but there's a lot more to do with how to better communicate why climate change is such an important issue, what's scary about climate change, but also the many possibilities we have to address it, and the opportunities that can come with tackling an issue like climate change. Maybe climate change is also a way for positive change. And so I think if we work on that communication, we can also encourage people to do more to be proactive on reducing emissions, or using resources more efficiently, or thinking about how to make the world a more ethical place, a more equal place, so that everybody can enjoy consumption, but at the same time protect the planet. I think it's really important that when we have conferences on themes that are as complicated as climate change, that we have scientists coming from different perspectives and sharing those different views on what climate change is, how we can understand it, what its impacts are, so that you look at climate science from the views of those who are modeling what is going on in the atmosphere, what the impacts of anthropogenic emissions are, what that might mean for the impact of extreme heat events and their frequency, to the kinds of questions of ethics or politics, or the legal system and how they can react to human activities and try to shift course so that we deal with climate change better than we've been dealing with it so far. So these interdisciplinary conferences are very, very important. We learn more about the vocabulary of others, the kinds of questions that are being asked, and sometimes hearing those other questions helps you to think yourself about, do I need to be looking at an aspect that I haven't been looking at before? So I think it's really terrific to have this kind of conference.